The Golden State Warriors walked into this offseason with one obvious hole in the roster. They needed more size and depth on the wing. Instead of waiting for free agency to solve it, they answered the question on draft night. Hey, what's up, everyone? Before we jump into everything today, that like button right there is what decides if this video hits hundreds or thousands of people. 1 second is all it takes. But the impact on this channel is massive. Go ahead and hit that like button right now. Seriously, it's the simplest thing you can do. And honestly, the best way to back this content up, because every single like pushes us further. So hit it now. With the 11th overall pick, Golden State selected Lendeborg, a 6'9" forward who arrives ready to contribute right away. The Warriors then doubled down on position late in the second round, grabbing 6'7" wing Leji Jones with the 54th pick. Jones looks like a candidate for a two-way contract, which means he likely won't change the front office's spending plans. Lendeborg, on the other hand, changes everything about how Golden State will attack the open market. The LeBron chase stays alive, even if it's a long shot. Start with the biggest name still floating around. The expectation for many remains that LeBron James returns to the Lakers, though a report indicating he hasn't spoken with that organization recently leaves the door open just a crack. From a pure fit standpoint, stacking James alongside Lendeborg, Draymond Green, and Gue Santos would create a logjam of players who are all best suited to play power forward. That overlap is a problem you happily accept if you can land a player James's caliber using only the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Realistically, though, the smart move is to plan as if James signs elsewhere and build accordingly. The Porzingis pursuit turns urgent. This is where the Lendeborg pick truly reshapes the math. Had Golden State used its first-rounder on a center, the front office could have treated re-signing Kristaps Porzingis as a luxury rather than a necessity. By going wing instead, the Warriors now have a glaring need in the middle, and bringing the 7'2" Latvian back next to the newly re-signed Al Horford becomes essential to stabilizing the center rotation. Reporting has already surfaced that the Warriors are actively negotiating with Porzingis, and the tone of that coverage suggests his return is more a matter of when than if. In truth, Golden State was always going to chase him. The draft just removed any remaining doubt and made the pursuit a no-brainer. The Draymond Green equation shifts. The Lendeborg selection also quietly alters the conversation around Green. If the Warriors were serious about clearing room for a James-type addition, they would need Green to decline his player option and accept a multi-year deal starting at a lower salary. But the James scenario fades before Green's option decision date arrives. He has little incentive to walk away from a guaranteed $27.7 million payday. There's a deeper layer here, too. Lendeborg projects as Green's eventual long-term replacement at the 4. That reality gives a franchise a graceful path to transition off Green after the upcoming season. Had Golden State not landed Lendeborg, the front office might have pushed harder to lock Green into a longer contract. The real top priority, a scoring guard. With the wing now addressed, the Warriors' clearest free agency need flips to a dynamic, ball-handling guard. And that's actually good news. The free agent wing market this summer is thin and unappealing. So chasing a quality wing with a mid-level exception would have been a frustrating, low-odds exercise. Hunting for a guard is a far more winnable battle. Earlier reporting tied Golden State to two names for that mid-level money: Anthony Simons and Colin Sexton. Simons is the flashier, more explosive scorer of the pair. Sexton carries a slightly stronger career three-point percentage and offers a bit more grit on the defensive end. Either one would represent a strong addition to a backcourt anchored by Steph and Curry. If both slip away, re-signing DeAnthony Melton becomes the logical fallback. He doesn't generate offense at the level of Simons or Sexton, but his on-ball defense carries real value, and he's earned a bump from his modest $3.1 million salary from last season. Bargain hunting to round out the roster. Assume Green opts in, Porzingis returns, and a guard arrives via the mid-level exception. That gives Golden State a rough depth chart with Curry and the new guard at the point, Brandon Podziemski, and Will Richard at shooting guard. Gue Santos manning the wing alongside the injured Jimmy Butler and Moses Moody, Green and Lendeborg at the 4, and Porzingis paired with Horford in the middle. That still leaves 4 standard roster spots, 3 of which the Warriors are required to fill. One has to go toward another wing, and one toward another center. Even with Lendeborg in the building, Butler and Moody being sidelined means the team needs another healthy body on the wing. And with Horford turning 40 and Porzingis carrying a long history of injury and illness concerns, a third center is non-negotiable. For those minimum salary slots, re-signing Quentin Post is one option, but the market offers veteran alternatives, such as Marvin Bagley III, Jock Landale, and Andre Drummond. None of those moves are glamorous, yet they're the kind of low-cost depth a contender needs. The bottom line is simple. One draft pick didn't just fill a hole. It redirected Golden State's entire free agency strategy, turning a desperate wing search into a focused hunt for a guard, a center, and smart value signings around the edges. Now to a development that, on the surface, looks like a simple veteran re-signing, but underneath tells a much bigger story about where Golden State is heading. By now, most Warriors fans know that Al Horford declined his player option in order to re-sign with the team. When word came down that it agreed to a 2-year deal worth $14 million, the natural assumption was that the second season would carry a throwaway player option, the kind of veteran easily declines on his way to retirement after one final run. That assumption turned out to be wrong, and the truth is what makes this story interesting. No option fully guaranteed. There is no player option attached to Horford's contract. He signed a fully guaranteed deal, meaning he collects every dollar of that money as long as he doesn't walk away from the game. That single detail is loaded with meaning. First, it's surprising that Horford appears genuinely committed to playing 2 more seasons at 40 years old. It's almost equally surprising that the front office didn't push back and refused to attach a guaranteed second year. If the veteran suffers a serious injury during the upcoming season, Golden State is on the hook to pay him the following year regardless of what he can give on the floor. But the biggest reason this raises eyebrows has nothing to do with Horford's age or health. It has to do with how carefully the Warriors have been protecting their future books right up until they handed him this contract. A cap sheet that was built to stay flexible. Heading into the day Horford signed, Golden State had committed guaranteed money for the 2027 to 28 season to only 2 players. Moses Moody was locked in at roughly $13.4 million, and Gue Santos at about $5 million. Lendeborg's incoming rookie contract adds another $6.4 million, or so, to that 2027 to 28 ledger. Beyond those 3, the books were essentially clean. That wasn't an accident. When the Warriors were shopping Jonathan Kuminga around the 2026 trade deadline, reporting indicated they had no interest in taking back long-term salary in return. The most logical reading of that stance was a deliberate plan to preserve maximum cap space for the 2027 offseason. The signals kept pointing the same direction. A report that Draymond Green intends to pick up his $27.7 million option rather than sign a multi-year extension could simply reflect Green wanting the bigger 1-year number. But it also fit a theory that the front office was quietly encouraging that choice, prioritizing future flexibility over spreading money across several seasons. Tie it all together, and the picture seemed clear. Golden State would surely extend Curry's contract through 2027-28, and with Butler's deal expiring after the upcoming season, the franchise looked poised to get itself one last clean reset around its star while it still could. Then the Horford details landed. A skeptic might ask whether Horford's modest $7.2 million figure for 2027 to 28 really changes the whole equation. It's a fair question, and it's certainly possible the Warriors still execute a major roster overhaul that offseason, getting significantly younger while keeping Horford around as a steadying presence. But that explanation doesn't quite hold up. You don't commit a fully guaranteed second year to a player turning 40 unless your plans for that exact window have shifted. The 2-year contention window theory. The most sensible interpretation is that Golden State is now building toward a 2-year championship push rather than saving its chips for a single future splash. A handful of outcomes subtly feel more likely under that framework. Kristaps Porzingis re-signing for 2 years rather than a 1-year deal fits the pattern. So does Jimmy Butler agreeing to a fresh 1-year contract once his current deal ends, almost certainly at a number far below his existing $56.8 million salary. And Green being back for the 2027 to 28 season in one form or another, lines up neatly with a sustained run. That last piece is the trickiest to square. The ideal long-term homes for both Lendeborg and Santos are at power forward. So keeping Green around into 2027 to 28 could cut into the minutes those younger players need to develop. Still, if Curry, Butler, Porzingis, and Horford are all on the roster chasing a title, it's easy to imagine Green returning on a cheaper number if the team wants him. An ironic twist on the timeline. There's a final wrinkle worth noting. During Steve Kerr's contract talks earlier this offseason, reporting suggested team governor Joe Lacob wanted to avoid a farewell tour atmosphere hanging over the upcoming season, which is part why he declined to offer Kerr a one-year deal. The irony is that the franchise may be steering straight into that very feeling anyway, just pushed back by a single year. Kerr is signed for exactly 2 seasons, and now Horford's guaranteed 2-year commitment mirrors that same window almost perfectly. What looked like patience and flexibility has quietly turned into a clear, time-stamped message. The Warriors believe their best chance is right now, and they're built to chase it over the next 2 years. Now for a lighter, more human moment. The kind of exchange that hints at how a locker room comes to get along before anyone takes the floor. Moments after Golden State Warriors selected him with the 11th pick of the 2026 NBA draft, new forward Yaxel Lendeborg said something most rookies would never dare admit on national television. He confessed that he used the root against a franchise he was about to join, and against one of its biggest stars in particular. "I'm a big Kyrie guy," Lendeborg said, explaining that his loyalty to Kyrie Irving traces all the way back to the 2016 finals. "So I used to hate Steph Curry. It was an unusually candid thing to say in the middle of the biggest night of his career, and predictably, that one line grabbed far more attention than anything else he shared." Lendeborg went on to heap praise on Curry right after, but the internet had already locked onto the headline-grabbing admission, Curry's classic response. Stephen Curry clearly caught wind of the comment, because he didn't let it slide. Rather than ignore it or fire back with anything sharp, the 4-time champion leaned into humor with a reply on Lendeborg's Instagram page. "Let's go. Welcome to the Bay. I'm going to work hard to be your new favorite player," Curry wrote, capping it with a laughing emoji. The rookie took the ribbing in stride and answered right back. "Man, we all good, man," Lendeborg replied, tossing a couple of laughing emojis of his own. In a few short lines, what could have been an awkward first impression instead became a playful introduction between veteran and newcomer. The praise behind the punchline. The hate line may have gone viral, but it doesn't tell the full story of how Lendeborg actually feels about his new teammate. Right after the Irving comment, he made clear how much joining forces with Curry means to him. "Now that I'm actually going to be able to be on the same team with him, play and actually learn so much from him, it means a lot," Lendeborg said. He added that he had met Curry a few times already and came away impressed. "He's a very great guy, genuine person. It's going to be an honor to be able to watch what he does in person. So I'm very excited." That mix of old grudge and new admiration is far from unusual. Lendeborg is almost certainly one of countless younger players who grew up with strong feelings about Curry and the Warriors during their dominant stretch in the mid to late 2010s. A rivalry rooted in history. To understand why a kid would pick Irving's side, you have to remember the era. Golden State and the Cleveland Cavaliers squared off in the finals for straight years, and the first 2 of those meetings carried real, genuine bad blood between the teams. The Warriors ultimately won 3 of those 4 championship series. But Irving got the better of Curry in 2016, hitting one of the most famous shots in finals history to help Cleveland steal a dramatic Game 7 on Golden State's home floor. For a young Irving fan like Lendeborg, that single moment was more than enough to cement his allegiance and his opinion of Curry. Why the fit makes sense on the court. Beneath the jokes, there's a real basketball reason this pairing should work. Drafting Lendeborg was framed as one of the best possible 2026 outcomes, specifically for Curry, and the on-court logic is easy to follow. Lendeborg isn't a long-term project who needs years to matter. He's viewed as ready to contribute immediately, and the parts of his game that stand out should directly benefit Curry. His ability to push the ball in transition, his skill at making sharp passing reads, and his knack for crashing the offensive glass all translate into more quality looks for the greatest shooter the game has seen. There's a tactical layer too. Lendeborg projects as a useful partner in pick-and-roll actions with Curry, and his feel for the game means he can punish defenses when they overcommit. When opponents send a second defender to trap Curry, Golden State suddenly plays 4-on-3, and Lendeborg has the passing and finishing instincts to make those scrambled defenses pay. That kind of complementary skill set is exactly why his selection drew such a strong grade. More laughs to come. If this first exchange is any indication, Curry and Lendeborg are going to have plenty of fun together. Both clearly know how to take a joke and dish one back, and that easy chemistry off the floor often translates into trust on it. What started as a vile confession about an old grudge has quickly become a feel-good story about a rookie and a legend finding common ground. Lendeborg arrived as a self-described Kyrie loyalist who once couldn't stand Curry. He's leaving that narrative behind as a wide-eyed teammate eager to learn from one of the sport's all-time greats. And Curry, true to form, has already promised to win him over. It's the kind of small, genuine moment that tends to set the tone for a long season ahead.